Hello everyone. We have been learning about various waterproofing systems in building construction. In the previous module, we tried to learn about various types of waterproofing systems. In the traditional ones, we learned about various systems like lime surkhi, then brick bat koba, etc. And in the modern ones, we tried to look into membrane waterproofing systems. Then we learnt about cementitious waterproofing systems and many more. So today we will try and know its application in various parts of the building. So for example, in basement specifically, which type of waterproofing is to be provided and how the process of waterproofing is to be done specifically for basements, or the till the plinth level what kind of waterproofing should be provided. We will see like for example for terrace what kind of waterproofing should be provided. So all these types we will see in detail today. Okay, so let us proceed to see them one by one. In case of waterproofing to be done for underground structures, for example the construction of the footings, the construction for basement, then water tank and the swimming pools for example. Basement is usually subjected to hydrostatic pressure, which is exerted by the subsoil water. So this pressure it rises in monsoon, and as the subsoil water increases, and it will be lesser as compared to the monsoon system in the season in the other seasons. So the hydrostatic pressure will increase also according to the depth of the earth. So the structures that are located in the vicinity of water bodies, they are always subjected to this hydrostatic pressure. So the greater this pressure is, it will try to force the water into the pores of the concrete, or even into the cavities that will be there around the basement. So this can cause the deterioration of the structure. So that is why to avoid that we need a waterproofing system. So while the construction process is going on, there is an impervious membrane which will prevent water from entering to the structure is provided. So this membrane it must be durable, it must be flexible enough, it should be impermeable. The membrane should be compatible with adhesives to ensure the long life adhesion, and definitely it should be user friendly, right? So, and it should be a continuous film so that there is no water seepage happening further. So it should withstand the environmental and climatic conditions as well. So whatever expansions, contractions happen according to the season, it should be allowing them to happen so that there is more and more of waterproofing provided by it. So the basement waterproofing can be done specifically in two type of methods. First we have positive waterproofing and negative waterproofing. So you see in this diagram, the membrane has been applied from the exterior surface of the wall. Okay, in the basement, the surface that is attached to the wall, over there we provide the waterproofing. And in the negative waterproofing system, it is done from the inside. But it has to be always a continuous membrane. So it can be a liquid membrane, it can be bituminous coating waterproofing, or it can be box type waterproofing. But throughout the years it has been said that box type waterproofing has been a very successful one when we talk about basements. Okay, so the membranes and all are also equally good, but their application, their method of finishing that is required is pretty much intensive. So the box type waterproofing, it has PCC of the basement is first checked at the level. It should be in a proper level. So above this PCC, the shahabad is laid, the shahabad flooring is laid in cement and sand mortar. So it is laid in a staggered manner so that the joint is not continuous. That takes care that the water, once even if it is seeps from any point, it is not continued throughout the structure. So there is a specific gap left between the shahabads. Then the gap is then grouted with cement and sand mortar. So these are all cares are taken. Okay. So it is cured for 7 days. So the proper sealing is ensured and a proper treatment is ensured. So if we see further, Then in the plinth level damp proofing, now let us go to little upper state of the stage of the structure. So at the plinth level, we know that the damp proof course, that is DPC, is a layer which restricts the capillary movement of the water through the walls and floor. Now at plinth level, where is water going to come from? It is going to come from two ways, from the ground as well as from the top part or the walls, right? So the properties of DPC, that is damp proof course, that it should be impervious, should be strong and durable, it should be able to withstand both live load and dead load. So these DPC, they use various materials. So specifically rigid materials like bricks, stone, cement, concrete, etc. We also have semi-rigid materials in it, that is the asphalt, like mastic, or the combination of various materials or layers is done. There are flexible materials like bitumen felts, there are plastic sheeting, etc. So here in the plinth construction specifically, the levels have to be checked properly. Where the whatever membrane or any type of waterproofing is provided, we have to see the levels. So it has to start from the inner wall of the inside of the floor and has to end towards the outside. So it is a thorough membrane which does not allow any water seepage from outside as well as from the upper part of the building to come down. Okay. So if we see now further in the upper structure, where all is water going to be first struck at? First we provide chhajjas as a weather protection, right? So first the chhajjas are coming in contact with water for maximum time period as compared to other parts. So it is a source of water leakage for many type of buildings. So proper waterproofing treatment is a must in this case. So the care has to be taken that any kind of coating that is provided to the chhajja has to extend onto the wall that is above the lintel level, so that this continuous layer of plaster or membrane, it maintains the waterproofing. Okay. So the majorly in the part of chhajja, the main source of leakage is at the joint, top joint between the lintel and the brickwork, because your material is changing, right? So there would be expansion and contraction of the building, so there will be a little gap left in between. So there waterproofing is a must. So also the curing part, if we see, it takes 3 days almost. So even the pointings like drip molding is done in case of chhajjas. Now further, let us see a very critical and one of the most talked about waterproofing, that is the waterproofing of bathrooms. Okay, which is one of the most wet area of the interior of an apartment or house or any building. So the surface of the bathroom is first cleaned properly. All whatever loose particles, dust, cement will be there, it should be cleaned. Then the waterproofing coating is applied. Majorly cementitious waterproofing or polyurethane coating is preferred here. Okay. So the coating is applied throughout the sunken portion of the bathroom, and it is extended at least 300 mm from all sides vertically. Now this is an important and crux when we talk about bathroom waterproofings. So when we take that flooring waterproofing above towards the walls, it ensures that there is no gap between the joints, right? The joints are more critical when we talk about waterproofing, as I mentioned. So that is why if we make a continuous membrane from the flooring towards the walls, then there is a proper ensurety that there won't be any water seepage further. Then the brickbat coba, cement and sand mortar is applied, and then it is finished. Okay. The nani trap is properly sealed first from all the sides. This is one of important detail that has to be observed. And most importantly, the slope has to be first worked out. So when we do brickbat coba in the bathroom, then we have to look at the slope, that towards the nani trap the slope has to follow. Then from where it is going to collect the water and take it down from the drain. So that is why the joints between the tiles are sealed and then grouted with cement. So this all takes care of the proper waterproofing. Now if we see further, as compared to bathrooms, the WCs are supposed to be more critical. as there is a separate element of the fixture that is going to come and get placed inside, and it will have more of a depth, right? The WC pot, it has a lot of depth that is there. So this again here the first basic surface has to be cleaned, and waterproofing coating that can be applied here is cementitious waterproofing or polyurethane coating again. So this coating is applied throughout the sunken portion on the toilet or the WC, and it is extended again towards the at least 300 mm on all sides vertically, as I told you in the case of bathrooms. So WC pan is placed along with the trap, and a small drain pipe is placed at the bottom so that water can be drained out. So the cementitious water is cured for about 2 to 3 days. The brickbat coba is then done above it. Slope of the brickbat coba is properly provided. The trap is then sealed properly from all the sides. So above the brickbat coba, cement and sand mortar is applied, and then it is finished. So now if you see, the process is pretty similar to the process of waterproofing bathrooms. So the curing is another important point, and after the curing is done, the WC is finished with use of tiles for the floor as well as dado, that is on the walls. So the joints between the tiles have to be properly grouted using cement, right? So if we go further, the last part of the applications that we'll talk according to the building parts is the terrace level waterproofing. So majorly in terrace waterproofings, brickbat coba is seen as a very common method that is used. So the surface is first cleaned, then the terrace is divided into equal parts. Now waterproofing of terrace is not just application of the layers of waterproofing or the system, but it involves a lot of design. Okay, whatever surface area for your terrace is, we are supposed to divide it into equal parts, as the adequate slope is to be provided for the brickbat coba. Now the overall terrace surface will be a bigger area. So if it has to take water from one point to another, that is towards the drain, then if we provide single drain for overall terrace, that is not going to work. That is why we divide the terraces into equal parts. So, and the adequate slope is to be provided in the brickbat coba. So if the area is larger, then the thickness of the brickbat coba will increase. That will increase the weight of the slab. So the maximum thickness at the ridge should not be more than 125 mm. So what is a ridge? If we are dividing the terrace into equal parts, if we see from one part, the water is going to flow towards the drains. So from where it is starting, that part will be known as ridge. That part will divide the terrace into two equal parts, or any of the one portion into two parts. So this ridge has to be properly sealed. Okay. So the thickness at the ridge should not be more than 125 mm at the end near the rainwater pipe, and there it should be 75 mm. So it ranges, the thickness of the brickbat coba for overall will range from 125 mm to 75 mm. So the care should be taken that the sand should be very finely sieved and then used to fill the gaps between the bricks, right? So edges of the parapet wall should be properly rounded. The water will slide away from the walls and not seep inside. Then the waterproofing additive can be added in the mortar after the gaps are filled. Then the terrace is filled with water for 4 to 5 days. This ensures the proper curing. Then after finishing, the plaster of the parapet wall is done. So it also overlaps the finishing layer of waterproofing. At the joint of the rounding, which is called as vata, and the plaster of parapet wall, a drip mold or kani is also done. So now why drip mold again? Like we saw in the case of Chhajja, here the drip mold will not allow the water to come to the vertical surface that is there, right? So this is about a brickbat coba that is provided here. So finish is again with the use of sand and cement mortar. Okay. So this is all about how we will do waterproofing in various parts of the building. Okay, there will be n number of methods we can also study further as per our interest. Okay, so this is it for today. Let us now go to the book part and read every type in detail according to the building parts.